What's going on, guys? Travis with the REC Garage, and in this video I'm going to be making these lower quarter panel patches from scratch, and also I create a few dies to allow me to do this. Alright, so the piece I'm going to replace on the bottoms in front of the wheel well are about 24 inches, and they're not quite rotted so far up, so it's about 3 feet. So I'm going to take this, cut it in half this way, and I will have enough material for both sides if I don't mess it up. So hopefully I don't mess it up. Alright, so now, see, I broke that edge, but it is not as tight as it needs to be. So I'm going to shove it in the Pullmax, and you will see it change shape. Let me lube this panel up, get the Pullmax going, and let's pound it out. Alright, so that worked out pretty good. As you can tell, it actually has a curve to it, which I kind of like. Pretty sure it needs it. This right here, this panel, this is like the side of the vehicle. This needs some shape to it. It's just got nothing. And since it's a tiny curve here, kind of bows in, the metal doesn't know where to go. There's not enough of it. So I need to stretch this out and create some kind of crown to that little piece there. Might put a flange, a tiny flange on this 2-inch piece, so when the sub rail comes down, this will butt up to it, and I can spot weld. Yeah, shape. This panel needs some shape. Don't have an English wheel, so I think I'm gonna do that doming thing like I showed you. This is like way exaggerated. I'm not gonna do this much, but this is what happened to a little scrap piece that I put the 9. So I'm thinking I'll do the 36, and that should literally be like almost nothing. And if it doesn't do anything, I'm just gonna take my time. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. I'm gonna take my time because I don't want to ruin this panel, because I really don't have that much steel left, and I need this to work. And if I can't get any crown out of 24, it's just not gonna work that way, which I'm fine with. I'll just get my English wheel when I have it and put a little bit of crown in it. Alright, so you saw me do the doming dies on the top here. That didn't really do anything, and I thought since that didn't do anything, I might need to shrink this in the center here. It was a bad idea. Didn't need shrinking. Moral of the story, I need my English wheel. Alright, as you can see, I got my English wheel back. Buddy Stick and Logan brought it back. So now I can take this piece, this lower patch that I made, and you can probably see there's a little bit of a wave to it right here. I got to get that out, so I'm going to use the English wheel with a really low crown, almost flat. Run it over where I shrunk, where I thought I had to shrink, so I'm going to stretch that back out and go over this and get a nice slight arc to it. And also fix that where I shrunk. I actually needed to shrink this, so let me just pretty much tune the whole panel up. Alright, so normally when you're using an English wheel, the contact point is directly in the center of the two wheels, widthwise. So if you want to work an edge that the wheel can't quite get into, because it's like an inch, a strong inch where it doesn't really touch. If you're trying to get into a corner, say, like this here. I'm trying to English wheel this corner, right on this corner here. Because it kind of dips up and then it hits the curve. So a little bit of imperfections in my dies. I can sand them out and fix them later, but this is easy enough. What you do is I took a little bit of scrap aluminum, folded it in half, and you shove it under one edge of the die. So your contact point is now at the edges of your dies. So that's a cool little trick, and hopefully you can see. Now I can planish that corner out. Well, I have to bend that over. It's scratching my piece. Got this panel nice. Oh, it's awkward to hold. No more little wavy sections. Bottom's good. Flange is nice. So now what I need to do is make a die so I can put this little lip. That way this can go over it and the door can close and be flush. So I'm gonna make it out of these, make these blanks at work. So just a nice die ready to be a step die. I put marker on half of this die so I can mark out where 350 thou from the top down is. I will split this in half and take that out. And same with this one. Split it, take it out. So I gotta turn this essentially into this, but small. Alright, so I ground down one of these dies that I'm making. So it went from this half circle cut off to this. So what I'm doing here is ramping it up so the metal has room to go in nice and easily. It's not an abrupt smash down and hard angles. Soften all the edges and just kind of make a ramp to lead in. The other one's going to be the same thing. It's going to be a ramp coming up this way. So they'll both lead into the final dimension, which is here. So I'm going to continue and make this one look like this. Call me Puddin' with these glasses on. Check me out. Alright, so I got my two little dies. Slap it in the machine and see how it goes. Might be too short, but hey, you know what? It might just work. It's not dumb if it works. Alright, so I just polished these dies and forgot to put the time lapse on, but you know, they're shiny. That should leave a better finish on the panel. Hopefully, I don't know. I'm just figuring this out, just like you guys. Look at that though. There's still the flats on both of these could have been sanded a little better before I polished it, but you know, it ain't terrible. These should do better. And this is 01 tool steel actually, so these will harden up nice. I might even harden these and then polish them again. Actually drill and tap the side of this maybe on the bottom one, just so I could stick a piece of any kind of stock, tighten it down so I don't have to have it welded to it all the time. The option to screw something in there, yeah, I'll probably do that. So before I harden these, I'll drill and tap them. Alright, so I got my hole drilled and tapped in my little die here. So I just put a thick washer to compensate from that overhang there. And I found a little tab, just washer and a lock washer. So that will be the stop for the sheet metal. We'll see if we can make a test piece. This is a test piece I've been doing a lot of my test dies and beads and stuff on. I did the edge just right here, and it's been warped from this bead and doing half of it yesterday. But nice little step. There's not really any tooling marks on here that would be of any concern. I think it came out pretty good. Yeah, that seemed to match up pretty good. I'm happy with that, because it needs that joggle down and over the whole length, but not on this part. It's kind of weird. Maybe I'll just do it as far as I can and then do that by hand, figure that out by hand. Only one way to do it though, just get after it. I think I have long enough piece that I could kind of sacrifice if I need to. Little extra, but not much. See how I need to put that step in there? Yes, I guess I just gotta do it. Scary stuff. Okay. Still learning, so I don't know if I should have done one thing before the other, but it's coming together. This corner is tricky, so I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do here. I think I'm gonna have to cut and weld this corner up. I just don't think I have the skills to do it in the Pullmax, which is totally fine with me. I think it scares me anyway, all it's capable of, and it's like, do I have the skills? So I'm figuring that out, but I don't know. I think it looks pretty good for now. Just gotta figure out what to do with that. Alright, so panel is taking shape. I've messed around with this corner a little bit, so now it's exactly the way it needs to be. Looking nice. Next step here, I am going to measure the size of this flange here. I gave myself a little extra just so I can cut it off, make it look like factory. So I'm going to measure that with some calipers, and we're going to come back and I think just cut these with some hand shears and file the edge nice and smooth. Alright, so we took this flat piece of sheet, turned it into something. It's not the most complex of panels, but it's also not that simple either. This corner kind of beat me up, but I figured it out. I wanted to try to get it just done on the Pullmax and smash it, but you know, I had to cut and weld, but I think it came out pretty good. Nice corner here. This flange meets up with this, matches up on the body. Pretty much all I got to do now is cut it out, but that'll be on the next one. This video was just making the panel. I think I'm going to make a few more panels, kind of rough them out before I start cutting the body apart, just so I can kind of cleco everything in place and see what it's going to look like, how it's going to fit before I start cutting things, because these bodies aren't too common and I can't just like go to a friend's house and reference one. So I want to kind of leave it together as much as I can before I cut it off. Alright guys, I finished up both of these patches with the homemade dies I made. Got the nice crisp corners on there. Yeah. I put the low crown in with the English wheel. I think it came out pretty good. So that's all I'm doing for this one. So keep liking, commenting, subscribing, clicking the bell. See you on the next one.